Can Newcastle find some young gems in Europe? We'll find out right here on Toon Tactics TV. Toon Tactics TV, folks.
Oh, brilliant from Cher. And now Murphy can take on the shot. Fabian Cher
I missed my speech and everything, guys. I was like, can we find some gems? We're scouting Newcastle, we're scouting some young gems in Europe. Can can we find some young gems and forwarders in Europe? Gosh, I lost all my speech, guys. But anyway, I'll get into it in a moment. Good evening, good evening, good evening, folks. I hope you are all well. I hope you are all blessed. And my camera's a bit too high there. Let's sort ourselves out. How are you all doing? I hope you're all doing well. I am doing some armchair scouting today. I'm going to be looking at um, a- three or maybe what three or four. That's ambitious. Two or three young forwards that Newcastle have been reported to be linked with. Maybe gone a little bit under the radar, some less so than others. Um, and what does it say about Newcastle United going forward in the summer? I was tempted to review yesterday's game. I won't be doing that. I might just look at some of the full time stats and that's it before we kick on. But just before we do that, hit the likes, guys. Like, share, subscribe as always, and let me know how you folks are doing. We've already got a few. We've got Mighty Mag already. Also, good to see you, sir. Mighty Mag. Even if Philip, hope you are well. I am very blessed and very, very, very happy to see you, sir. I hope you're well. Terrific result. Terrific result yesterday. So I'm very, very happy to see that. Notice that I said result because um, the game wasn't of the highest quality, but I think I said it live on stream. It's good to see us winning ugly again. And just getting it over the line. I think that's what that game was about: just getting it over the line, getting a result, keeping ourselves in the Champions League conversation. We needed that. We needed that, especially after getting knocked out of the FA Cup. We needed those Champions League that to be in that Champions League conversation. Exactly, Mike Mag. Keep us in the race for Champions League. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. And I noticed. In fact, let me have a look at this quickly while I'm talking about it, because we have actually entered in the final 10 games. Where are you? Man, I've got 35 tabs up. I have to close some of them. But if we look at, let me share Newcastle's final 10 games. Where are you? Here we go. Whilst we're at it, we'll have a quick look at the West Ham game before we go on to the. I won't stay long in it at all, really. So when Newcastle come back, and I typically hate looking too far ahead, and I'm not trying to. I guess I'm just trying to. I'm not going to be like, oh, I reckon we can win this game. I reckon we can win that game because we don't know. I just want to look at our fixtures ahead going into the final 10 games and where we are at. Can you guys see the screen? Yeah, you can. So let's have a look here. Next 10 games, we've got Come on, show me the fixtures. Why can't I not see the fixtures? And apologies, guys, if I sound a bit. I've got hay fever mixed with some cold, a mix of something else. But hopefully you can hear me well. All right, match. No, that's the wrong one. That's the Liverpool one. Come on, why can I not find any Newcastle? Why am I not looking in the right place? Fixtures. Where's Newcastle's fixtures? Come on. Why am I not seeing it, guys? Fixtures. Maybe I'll go into FotMob. Why am I not seeing you? No, just go on Google. Why am I not seeing Newcastle fixtures? we're in our final 10 games, so let's see where we're at. All right, matches. Make sure you guys can see that as well. Yes, you can. Here we go. So in the final 10 games, we return after the League Cup game. We've got 2 weeks break, obviously international break. We've got Brentford at home, right? We've got Brentford at home. All I'm going to say, opportunity. 7:45 kickoff under the lights. Opportunity to get things, to start things well. 5 days later, we're at Leicester again. Evening kickoff away at Leicester, bottom of the league, Leicester, or second from bottom. I don't know where they are. All I can say is opportunity. Then we're back 6 days later at home to Man United. I think the 14th place currently. They're likely to still be there when we play them again. All I can say is, guys, opportunity. And then we've got Crystal Palace at home. Very good side. What's that? 3 days later. Then 6 days after, no, 3 days after that, Aston Villa away. Again, Champions League clash there. Then we've got, after that, 7 days later, we've got Ipswich Town at home. Opportunity. if so, Brighton, 3rd of May, they've beaten us twice this year. We've got to do something. Hopefully, we'll see. Then we've got Chelsea, 10th of May. That's probably going to be something for a Champions League spot. I can almost feel it. That's going to be a home game. All I can say is opportunity. Remember, Anthony Gordon's going to be back after the Brentford game. He's going to be back for the Leicester game away, and I hope he is full of energy. I imagine that he will be. 18th of May, Arsenal. That's going to be an away game, and before we finish, the final game at home against Everton. Opportunity. These final 10 games, all I'm going to say is, guys, opportunity. We have an opportunity. Winning that game against West Ham has put us in the conversation, and that is what is important. Right, and while I was at it, let me just quickly, before I read I think there's got one more comment, but let me just read. I'm going to very, very briefly look at the West Ham scoreline before we tuck into some scouting, some armchair scouting, guys. I'm going to be looking at forwards, and I'm going to set the groundwork for that in a moment as well. So let me make sure I get the results for the. Here we go. So before I get there, all right, I think we've got someone here. Adrian Pickett, good to see you, sir. Good evening, and God bless. A hard-fought win tastes particularly delicious. I absolutely agree. And it's in the I can't remember, guys, the last time we've won ugly like that. People might say they're not in the Forest game, but that was more like it was chalk and cheese. Like against, incredible first half, second half, whoa, that was shaky. But the West Ham game was winning ugly. That West Ham game was winning ugly. That was the definition of winning ugly. You know when they say, can you do it away on a cold night in Stoke? We did it away on a cold night in West Ham. That's what it was, on a rainy day in West Ham. So, if you guys can see, against West Ham, this is the attacking momentum. We had most of the attacking momentum. If for those that were with me watching the live game, both in the first and second half, if you see the green parts is West Ham, and West Ham did have like the upper hand. They would come out really fast, really strong, press us. I think they got a couple shots off. We managed to hold them off. We nearly went down in the first 30 seconds. Thankfully, Souček kicked it over the bar, but then we just slowly took the momentum out away from them, winning the first or second balls, but in particular, especially in our midfield. We won that midfield battle, forced them back. And obviously, the main problems was offensively. I was particularly frustrated with and I don't blame Livramento for this because he had a good game generally, but he's obviously a right-footed player playing on the left side, continuously cutting. He had to always cut it back. He couldn't put the ball in the first time, essentially. Now, some people have made it, I've said it online that that's a tactical thing, that our fullbacks don't always put the ball in first time. The type of goal that I think or the type of chance creation that yields the higher probabilities, the one that we actually scored from, where there was a cutback to Harvey Barnes, who then did an inbound cross in swinger. Obviously, that went to Bruno, and fair play. That could be that it could be a tactical thing. I'm sure that's something that Eddie Howe probably instructed as well. I guess just watching it, especially I guess as a fan watching it, you're thinking you can hit it first time with your left, or you try to hit it first time with your left, because you can see the opportunity open up in the penalty box. It's really frustrating when the cutback came, and it seemed like all the forwards lost their momentum and the opportunity to score. And a few times I think Livramento did try to put it in the box, but it didn't work out for him. So it looked as if he was losing confidence from doing that, in my opinion. I think anybody could have guessed the starting lineup. Obviously, Pope for Dubravka. That was the main kind of debate. But I think Pope more than proved his worth. I don't know if you guys remember when he came out his box, I think in the last 10, 20 minutes, and he did a diving header out. When the ball went over the top, Kieran Trippier was wrestling with, who was it that he was going up against? I forgot the striker. But Pope came out, headed it, and Dubravka doesn't come off his line. I don't see Dubravka ever doing something like that. So he proved his worth there. Barnes came in and stepped in. Let me know what you guys think of Barnes' performance. I thought he played okay. I thought he played relatively well, taking out central areas in particular, trying to be creative, trying to force action. I think this was a good game for him before the League Cup final. I think this was a good game for a few people. Joe Linton looked a little bit more like himself, battling away, fighting. Tonali, Bruno. He had to take us by the scruff of the neck, in my opinion. I thought we did okay. And Livramento did a good job of filling in that left back, in my opinion. Despite, I think, some of West Ham's chances, I'm surprised the possession went to West Ham, because it felt like we had the most of the possession, but we had the high expected goals. We created 3 big chances compared to their 1. We had 9 shots each. Their goalkeeper had to make 3 saves compared to ours 2. Really, did they have more possession than us? It felt like we had more of the possession, honestly. A lot of the other stats are pretty close. I think Kudos was their main threat in particular, and Bowen in parts as well, but we managed to kind of keep them fairly quiet, I say. Jules, they won more than Jules. Did they really? What stats is this SOFA score? Is this really? Am I reading the wrong ones? What I saw in the game is different to what the stats are saying. I felt like we won most of the duels, honestly. I don't know what you guys think, because that's why the momentum really went in our way. Maybe defensively, maybe because they had to tackle a lot. But I really felt that, we had the better of the duels and everything else. But fine, we got it over the line. I didn't want to spend too much time on West Ham, but the main thing is that we got it over the line and we are in the conversation. So we're going to move on to the scouting. We're going to look at it. Yeah, we're scouting. We're going to be looking at a few of the young talents across Europe, and I'm going to share a quick clip. Before I do that, we've got a couple of people in the chats. A couple of people. Queen of Heart, good to see you. God bless. Hope you're well. Hey, good evening, folks. Good evening to you, Queen of Heart. Good to see you. Evening to you, Adrian. Sorry, did I say Adam? I feel like I said Adam. Big up to you, Adrian. Hope you're well, sir. Hope you are well. Yeah. Mighty man. Good to see Liverpool in extra time. Tying them out. It was really good game. PSG have really, how they've remolded that team is some of the talent they've got. Wow. Right. So let me lay the groundwork a little bit first before I show a few of the forwards. And let me share. Can I share this screen? Yes, I can. This is from Skills Corner. I haven't listened to a full podcast from them just yet, but I want to. It's the first time I've kind of really been introduced to them via X, really. So what I'm hoping to do is to do that a lot more often, because I really enjoy listening to them in this situation and hearing their take on things as well. So it kind of lays the groundwork. I'm going to be looking at forwards mainly, and like really young forwards. So like I think none of them are really over the age of 21. And apologies, I don't know these gentlemen's names, but they're from Skills Corner, and they're just they've been analyzing they're having a conversation about Newcastle's profile of forwards, the players they've been linked to before, like your Hugo Ekitike's, and they didn't manage to get over the line, and the players they've got in terms like of Osola. And they make a connection between these type of players and their profiles. And they kind of say there's a DNA here. There's a profile of player that's quite evident that Newcastle are looking for. So I want to play this to you guys, let you guys hear it, let me know what you think, and that would lead me on. To the next couple of players that I'm going to show you guys. So let me play this clip. Make sure I got the sound on. Excelente. Skills Corner.
With Newcastle's link to Ekitike as well, Isak, Osula, and Ekitike are all the exact same build. They're like, their body type is the same. So that makes me think that Newcastle do have, again, the way Osula was doing step overs and like carrying the ball.
So what's that build? About 6'1", 6'2", 6'3", tall, strong, filled out, athletic, fast, but not just big for nothings. Aggressive guys, like personalities. Osula is no shrinking violet. We can see that. There's the link there.
Makes me think he's more of this like complete forward, which again just has everything. And
very interesting there. He's describing Osula. I'll rewind that a little bit, but he's describing Osula and he's saying he's also got these dribblings. He's also got technique. He's also got these dribbling aspects about him, which lets me know that he's a complete player. I wonder who that sounds like that already plays for Newcastle United. It's Mr. Alexander Isak. Now, I'm not saying Osula is Isak. I'm not saying that like Isak is Isak. But there's a profile of player that Newcastle are clearly molding their scouting around, and particularly in their forward areas. And these guys are saying it. You can see it in their physical, in their build. You can see it in their tech. You can also see it in their technical ability and what they're doing.
Which again just has everything, and again has the pace to do the power forward stuff. But maybe that's not his like superhero power, because Isak himself doesn't profile well as this power forward type, because he's just so smooth and does everything and links everything. He's probably in the same way that I said Drogba wasn't one, because Drogba did everything so well. Isak is probably the same in the same boat. So Newcastle themselves clearly have a striker recipe that they're following, because they didn't get Ekitike because he chose PSG. They got Isak, and they've bought someone that is maybe a less refined version of those two players.
Yeah. Speaking of Osula, they didn't get. Remember, guys, we agreed a fee with who did he play for? Was it Rennes? A PSG, Reims, I think it was, that Ekitike played. Was it Reims or Rennes he played for? And he went to PSG. If you guys remember that summer, we were also strongly linked to João Pedro. Obviously, we were unable to get, but instead of João Pedro, Isak came up, especially after Wilson got injured. And we did, but there's a real profile of player that these guys are describing that Newcastle have gone for. I want to, so I'm gonna, that kind of lays out a little bit of what we're saying. There's a bit they also said. I'm gonna go back a little bit further because it's interesting. I don't know if I'll catch it. I might miss it. I probably missed it. But profile of player: tall, physical, strong, aggressive, but also technique, ability to dribble. And I'm sure they've said it somewhere where Newcastle essentially are the forwards have also got. Let me see if I can get it here. Let me see if I can play it for you guys here.
Alexander Isak and Joe Linton at either side of a Hadron Collider, and then sent.
So yeah, this is where they're describing actually Osola. Here we go. I think this is the part. They're describing Osola. They said that Osola is a cross between an Alexander Isak and Joe Linton. Let me know what you guys. That's not actually a bad analysis. It's so physical, strong, aggressive, but also great dribbler. Has the little step overs as well. So let me know what you guys think. And this is what that leads them to their conversation about the profile of striker that Newcastle are looking at.
But I think Osula is somebody with the physical profile. I've said on occasion, just watching, he's kind of, if you wanted to sort of put Alexander Isak and Joe Linton at either side of a Hadron Collider and then shoot them at each other, you might end up creating Will Osula. Again, you might destroy both players. That's not.
If you just shoot them, if you just slap Joe Linton and Isak together, you get Osola.
Not advisable, but certainly not with a Carabao Cup final coming up.
No, it's not.
But that was just something that when I was reading through the article, it kind of made sense, and I could sort of see the vision that Newcastle's recruitment structure had.
So now the vision of recruitment structure. Remember, they've talked about the Osola. They started off with Osola, a cross between Isak and Joe Linton together, and how that led him to now begin to see there's a vision. There's a vision and there's a structure there's a vision to Newcastle's transfer structure, especially when it comes to their forwards.
Maybe speculated on, because a £10 million signing that ultimately turns into potentially the next Gyökeres or even a lesser version.
And this is a signature Paul Mitchell move. £10 million signing that turns into Victor Gyökeres is a Paul Mitchell a signature move.
It's that's ultimately viewed as a good bit of business.
So Cal in August 2024 tweeted or posted. No, it would have been tweeted then. Newcastle spending 15 million on William Osula is a prime example of clubs valuing profile and potential more than anything. He's not done much in senior football, but he's big, fast, direct, and 21 years old. Coach,
remember that: big, fast, direct, and 21 years old, because this is going to be the theme of the players. Spoiler alert, guys, these are the players I'm going to be looking at today. Big, fast, direct. That's that in very simple terms.
Coaches like that and sporting directors love it. So basically, all my work. Basically, all my work is piggybacking off what Chal's already done, but it's trying to condense that. I guess what I've tried to do with like the power forward and what we want to do with the archetypes is condense that into like something that you can just go to and look at.
Yeah.
So everything you've described is, again, he will have all the ingredients. And again, data-wise, we won't have much. He won't appear on anything because he's not played enough.
Especially this is key. This is the part. This is the key part. This is really, really interesting. And this is where Paul Mitchell gets into his zone. And to be fair, obviously, we signed William Osula before Paul Mitchell got here. But the way they're talking, I know that they're not saying this, but I almost feel like Paul Mitchell may have been already working in the background. Anyway, what they said is he doesn't appear on stats because he didn't play much, right? So the only way to discover Will Osula is to actually go out and scout. Then this is where Steve Nixon comes into play. This is why Steve Nixon is still a very formidable and important figure in Newcastle's scouting infrastructure. And I think Eddie Howe talked a little bit about how Newcastle approach their scouting, because people were talking about data-led approaches and stats and all these things. And he was saying, yeah, that's important. But with what he said, I don't know if he said the word hybrid. I'm sure it's a mixture of all these things. And I pondered that, and it leads me back to this. Remember what they just said? You're not gonna find Will or Sulla because I've got a couple of like data, I think it's called Scout Data, for instance. Nothing fancy, like £7 a month, like really limited stuff. But there's a point there. I'm not going to find a Will Sulla type of player because Will Sulla didn't play enough. To find Will Sulla, you have to go out to games, to places to see him play. Like obviously he was with Sheffield United for a year and a bit. Was talking about how his development was essentially arrested there. It was stunted there because Sheffield United got promoted to the Premier League, and it did so badly, and he didn't get a chance to play. He played against us a little bit, but we didn't get to see much of him. But the only reason when you'll know about a Will Sulla is if you followed him before he went to Sheffield United, when he played in Denmark, when he came over as well. You know that he's big, fast, athletic, and strong. So and remember what they said is they're invested in profile and potential. His profile, big, fast, direct, strong, dribbling. And his potential is 21 years old. He's got untapped potential. So this is what Newcastle are looking at and invested in. And it's taken a very comprehensive scouting network to be able to see. Yes, data is important. Yes, stats and figures are important. It gives you objective figures on the player. But with a Will Sulla, when you're looking for hidden gems, you have to go out and see them for yourself, because they may not necessarily be playing all the time. So they may not always, there's certain data stats that we're looking for may not always appear. You almost have to find them playing first division, second division in Denmark and physically see them to say to yourself, can this person do it on the next stage? There's the profile there. Let me let these guys finish up.
I've not gone back to look at why he was signed, but the Isak comparison is great. He played in was it Birmingham City?
Yeah, the FA Cup game. Yeah,
played right wing, but looked.
You see, so they're talking about Sola. They're talking about Sola. He played for Birmingham City. He played in the FA Cup. Right. So you have to. You almost have to catch these guys in flashes almost. You have to have such a comprehensive scouting network to be able to catch these guys. He played in a youth cup, FA Cup, or was it youth cup?
He played right wing, but looked, I was like...
Played right wing.
I haven't seen you play in a while, if ever. I couldn't remember. And I was like, wow, this is like, yeah, you can immediately see why they've signed him. The Hadron Collider comparison is very good. And with Newcastle's link to Ekitike as well, Isak.
I know, obviously, we've gone back. So it's very, very. So that lays a little bit of foundation of what we're looking for. Hidden gems. Sometimes they are on data, sometimes they're not on data. A profile of big, fast, direct, strong, technique, ability. And especially, we're obviously going to be focused a little bit on the forward line as well. Really, really small investment if we're looking at 10 million, but the payback could be so the investment is low risk, but the payback could be enormous. So even if Ursula doesn't make it to our first team regular, like an Isak type of thing, even him being on the fringes, him playing a lot more, especially this next year will tell us a little bit more, puts his price up a little bit more. I would obviously want him to make it, to be a rotational piece for Newcastle United and that we can rely on, because that hopefully that would mean that he's scoring 15, 20 goals a season as well. 15, 20 goals. At 10, 15 goals a season, that would be remarkable. So that kind of lays the foundation of what we're looking at and the players that we're looking at. And so why I mention this is that Newcastle already are linked to tons of players. They're going to be linked to even more summer players. And for me personally, guys, when I'm reading articles and I'm seeing, there's an interesting one. Like I was talking to Jake on X. I forgot the gentleman, Jake Armstrong, incredible analyst. And we actually, he mentioned, for instance, that Harvey. So it came out in the news today that Harvey Elliott, Liverpool's Harvey Elliott, is also is going to be put on the transfer list as well, alongside other players looking to sell him. And he said, and he himself said, great talent, but it's unlikely that Newcastle will buy him because he's small. He's small and he's got a slight build. And I said, yeah, I think because Newcastle looking for tall, big, fast, and direct players. He said, yeah. So looking into the summer, even from now on, when I'm looking at it, I'm almost filtering it down because I've spoken to you guys about obviously right wing forwards, and the players that we've been linked to, your Mbuemos, your Johan Bakayokos, they're not tall. They're not big. I know they've got different things about them, but the investment for Newcastle and the reward back is very, very small. The investment is high risk, or the higher risk. It's less risk for Mbeumo. It's pretty much plug and play. But I don't believe there might be, but I guess if Newcastle are going to buy a player, he's not going to be small. He's not going to be a Harvey Elliott. Talented guy, on the ball, phenomenal, really, really good. He's got dribbling skills, got passing skills, all these other things. But he misses a certain build and he misses a certain profile. So for me, when I'm looking at the transfers coming up, I'm looking for the players that are coming up, I've got this particular filter. And when these guys, and I had the same sense talking about, for instance, Newcastle been into Hugo Ekitike. They didn't mention João Pedro, but João Pedro was another guy, obviously. Now we've got William Osola. Isak's a little bit different because he's more, like I said, he's more smooth, more complete, more sophisticated, I suppose, in the way that he moves. But the players that we're mentioning now, you can see there's a profile, there's a theme of what's going on for them. And so that's the kind of, for the next couple of players that I'm looking at, you will see that. You will see that type of thing as well for them. But before we get into that, let me read a few of the comments. Just give me 1 second, guys. I forgot to get myself a bottle of water. Give me one moment. Right, thanks for hanging in there. I was like, where's my water? I was looking around, talking to you guys. I'm like, where's my water? So that's the profile of player we're looking for. And I'm really excited, to be honest with you. So before we get into it, let's read the comments. Let's see where you guys are at. Aaron Kane, good to see you and God bless. Good evening, Philip. Liverpool being taken to the wire. Konate and Trent have come off. Good news for us. I'm not going to celebrate injuries, but I know what you mean. Where they are being taken to the wire. Hopefully we'll be ready. The main thing is we'll be ready as well, but I know what you mean. So good to see you. Good to see you. Mighty Mag looks like Mario. I just realized you're talking about. Oh, yes, hope he is well. Guys are greeting each other. Brilliant. Got the Mario jokes going. God, they look like the Mario Kart before the game started. I was like, when you guys said it, it's funny how I knew straight away what you're talking about. Queen of Heart, Liverpool also have depth and flexibility. Could they catch us out on Sunday? Man, it's going to be a crazy game. I'm going to be talking about it this Thursday, guys. It's going to be absolutely massive. Absolutely great question, Queen of Heart. And that's that. That's exactly what we're going to be talking about. Aaron Kane, Ekatike, I think is a no-go. He's out some weird tweets about us, and his attitude makes me think Eddie wouldn't want Ekatike, even though he's very talented. Yeah, possibly. I didn't. I saw the one tweet. I didn't make too much. For me personally, I didn't make too much of it. 'Cause you never know what he's talking about. What he's. I don't know. I don't know. And players are young. Like they're just in mind sometimes as well. People would have said that. People said that about Gordon. People said that about various talents. And look at it. I think that when they spend time at Newcastle, everything changes. I remember how the Gordon came to Newcastle. Now he's got kids and stuff like that. She's got a child now. He's a grown man. He's doing well. Reams, thank you, Adrian. It's Reams Ekatike played for. Is Mitchell getting his fingers out? Oh, 100%. 100%. Now that the money's ready. And oh, by the way, it reminds me, like I said, I'm planning a show. It's probably going to be after the League Cup game now, in the international break, where we break down some of the financials. I do my armchair financial breakdown. Guys, all right? No expert at all, but I'm reading Swiss Ramble. I'm reading a couple other guys, and I'm using a lot of AI. I want to find out essentially, we've got the financials, we've got the past history of financial. How much can Newcastle spend on transfers? How much do they have to sell? Because you guys, for those of you previous shows, we know that Newcastle want to buy 4 players: a striker, a right wing forward, a right centre back, and a goalkeeper. We know who the goalkeeper. Craig Hope believes he knows who the goalkeeper is, and I think it's going to be James Trafford. And I've done the show where I personally think Newcastle have to buy some decent quality. Newcastle have to spend about £130 million on 4 players. How would that sit under the finances that we've got now? How much would we have to sell? And if we do sell, would we then have to buy more than one player in order to cover the positions as well? Because we've talked about trying to create a robust squad, meaning a squad that's got rotational pieces in it. We talked about Liverpool and Leverkusen before, how they've got like 3 or 4 players they highly depend on, and then you've got these different like sections of categories of players, like key rotational players, versatile players they've got that come and rotate to the first team. Then they've got squad and academy players, tons of stuff. And so, but Newcastle, for instance, if you look at theirs in terms of minutes, before now, we had 9 players that we're highly dependent on when we did the episode. And since then, what's happened when all those players are playing the maximum amount of minutes? Injuries and suspensions. And if it wasn't for Eddie Howe, and if it wasn't for the team spirit that we've got, we wouldn't even be in the conversation for Champions League. Just ask Tottenham about what happens when you get injuries and suspensions. So I think Paul Mitchell, Eddie Howe know this. And if they have to sell more players in order to get the 4 that they need, they still need to get other players as well. And speaking of what you're saying, Queen of Heart, I think Paul Mitchell has to get his finger out, because he has to get these talents. He has to get players that can at least rotate into the squad. They're not just potential. We have to be able to use them. They have to be able to play 500 or 1,000 minutes at least in a season. I think 1,000 minutes to 1,500 minutes in a season, in my opinion, to be decent rotational players in our squad, playing the League Cup games, especially in the early stages, FA Cup games. Hopefully, God willing, when we're in Europe, also being able to take off our big players, Isak and Gordon, over like the final 5-10 minutes of games as well, so we could prevent injuries, we could prevent suspensions. We need those type. We need to be able to have a robust squad. I'll read a few more comments before I get to the scout. So the thing with Osola is when's he gonna get minutes? That's exactly it. And he's got less than 500 minutes so far, and I feel like he needs to get more. You're right, Adrian. If Newcastle get good rotation, we could be at the same level as Liverpool, no question. When the Sola plays, he is on fire. I couldn't agree more with you. I couldn't agree more. Oh, where's my comments? Oh gosh, I thought you disappeared for a minute. Evening. Oh, Natalie, good to see you. Natalie Wilkinson, good to see you. Sorry, we couldn't stay on longer with you yesterday, but fantastic. Good to see you. Evening, guys. Do you think it benefits us that Liverpool, have they just gone out of the Champions League, or do you think they'll focus harder? Whoa, I didn't realize that. They're out of the Champions League. Oh, they're going to be so angry and so disappointed. That's a great question, Natalie. Hold on to that. Let me know, guys in the chat. Answer Natalie. Actually, like, what do you guys think? Are Liverpool going to be even more angry for the League Cup, saying we have to win something, or are they going to be? Or are they going to lose a little bit of steam? Let me know. Hi, Natalie. Hope tonight's game will get them. Yeah, guys are really doing it. Brilliant. All right. So Queen of Heart, evening, Natalie. Brilliant. All right, and we've got Christoph Hoskins. Right. Well, Liverpool out. Shame we can't play like PSG as we don't have any fast transition players. We don't have any fast transition players, and Philip Gordon still is a getting 1-8 to get less assists than perfect. You know. All right, Chris. So you don't really like Gordon, I see. Philip, where do you get this Osola something from? He's a big average League One player. I'm sorry, he's not Prem level. He has two league and one game. Things is amazing. He's not Prem level. That's a strong opinion. I try to be a little bit more flexible, especially with young players, and give them time. I think we'll know more next season. I think if Osola doesn't play more than 1,000 minutes, I would like him to play 1,500 minutes next season, to be honest, because then I'll know that Howe trusts him. If that doesn't happen, then I think I'll be more leaning towards what you're saying, Christopher, that maybe he isn't that level, but I think he will be. Right. So let's get on to it. The first player I want to talk about, you may have seen him already being talked about in the chat. Oh, it's not this guy. Not in the chats, on social medias. Can you guys see that? Yes, you can. Liverpool and Newcastle United, I'm not surprised by that. We often look for the same profile of players, want to sign Assane Diao. So Liverpool and Newcastle are interested in the Spanish winger Assane Diao, who has been impressive for a new club, Como. Como, obviously owned and managed by Fabregas. I need to study that story a little bit more because he's doing an incredible job there. So according to Court Offside, Assane Diao is attracting big interest from Premier League clubs as Liverpool and Newcastle United remain keen. The Como winger, he's a forward as well, who joined the Serie A upstarts only in January, has impressed with his performances, which has led to a swift departure from Italy and onto the shores of England. Assane Diao had an inconsistent season at the start of Real Betis, scoring once all season in Serie A before they chose to sell him. Serie A upstart Como made the club record 12 million bid to sign the winger. 12 million bid, not too much for how much Osola was bid for Newcastle. We bought him for 15 million, and he has since been a phenomenal for Cesc Fabregas. So while he's expected to improve now into the season, in the attackers already mounting, and Liverpool and Newcastle are looking to sign him. Both English clubs are looking to buy him. So Assane Diao. Let's look, before I go into his profile, let me quickly look on transferwindow.com. It's got a little bit more background on him because he's not just a winger. He's 19 years of age, so he's 2 years younger, 3 years younger than Osola. His place of birth is in Senegal. He's a Spanish citizen. And again, what did we say? Height, 1.85 meters, position right winger. He's massive. He's like, what? That's like 6'3", 6'2", 1.85 meters. Somebody let me know. I think that's what it is. And if we see there on the pitch side, he can play across the front three, from center to right to left. Perfect for Newcastle setup. Him, Osola, Isak, Gordon. That is perfect for Newcastle setup. And interestingly, he plays on the right wing, but he's right-footed as well. I watched him I watched about 60, 70 minutes of him on Saturday. Como were playing Venezia. He didn't have the greatest of games, but you saw flashes of what he's about. Works really, really hard off the ball. When he does get the ball, he just wants to run and kind of attack the play that he's up against. He's always trying to get himself in those type of positions. I also saw a scouting report from Anthony Mango, and he talked about how sometimes Assane Diao wants to run at players a little bit too much, and maybe he doesn't retain the ball a little bit more. So the good thing, he does want to run at players. The thing that he might need to work on a little bit is knowing a little bit more about when to do that, and that's something that can be coached, especially by Eddie Howe and the team. So he obviously signed a new contract in January the 7th of 2025. His new one runs out in 2029. I saw something about a release clause for him, which is around £26 million. So that's not too bad, considering the guy has already. If you guys can see his, can you guys see this? Yes, you can. If you guys can already see that since 2021, he's been playing in obviously Real Betis' youth and Cadiz, and then Betis' number 19s. Then he went to. Then he moved up a little bit more before playing for their first team, and now he's playing for Como a lot more regularly. So if we look at his minutes so far in La Liga, he's played 10 matches, obviously since January. He scored 5 goals, 816 minutes. We're talking about minutes as well. So he's got 816 minutes under him at the moment. La Liga, not too many at all, around 200 minutes. And Conference League of where? Must be Spanish Conference League, 351 minutes as well. Copa del Rey and the UCL qualifiers in 58 minutes. So all in all, this season, he's played nearly 1,600 minutes. And that's what you want at Newcastle. You want to have these type of youngsters that can give you that amount of time, give you those type of minutes. So he's got good experience. So the Como are already getting a little bit of a. They bought him for 12 million. He's got a clause for 26 million. So he's already going to be sold for twice the money, which is really, really good return for Como. And it's something that Newcastle can invest in. Now, the scouting report that I'm looking at is based on when Assane Diao played for Real Betis. So I think it was about a year ago. And the reason why I chose it is because, number one, it's really well written and it breaks down his abilities really, really well. And it gives a little bit of a background on him. So that's why I chose it. So I'm going to go through it before we look up his current stats on FB Ref, and we'll play a small clip of him as well. But before I do that, let me just see you guys comment, see what you guys are making of him so far. Do you guys know who he is? Have you heard of him before? Aaron Kane, I saw an interesting tactical tweet about putting a player between their double pivot. Oh, that's the PSG. Yes. Player between their double pivot, which PSG have done today, but not only disrupt their rhythm, but allow us to attack the backline. Bruno is key. Yes. Who was that said that? Was that Sean Casey? I think it was Sean Casey that said that. Yes. We did that when we drew them 3-3 as well. We have to be brave. Bruno is going to be absolutely key. I agree with you. Philip, we signed Isak at 22, excuse me. Christopher Isak at 22, Solis 22. This year he's Well, it's only if that's only if you believe that every player at whatever age should be the same level as that age, and I think people progress and develop differently, you know. So, and some people develop, some people are like, you know, for instance, Jack Wilshere, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 was an absolute superstar. But then that's, you know, that's began to wear off by the time he hit his mid-20s as well. So people peak and develop at different ages, and some people peak at, you know, I think Jamie Vardy didn't really come into prominence until he's like later, beyond the mid-20s as well. So everyone develops at different points, I think. But I take your point though, Christopher. Queen of Heart, hit the like. Oh, so hit the likes, folks. Help Toon Tactics out, please. Thank you, Queen of Heart. Yes, please, guys, do hit the likes and subscribe, folks. Appreciate you guys, and thank you again. Also, Mike, hit the likes, folks. Hit the likes. Christopher Hoskins, C. Philip, Assane Joan is 18. He has more talent than the Sona. Best winger was a CM. Well, they have a very similar profile. I don't know if you saw Christopher, if he was here. I played a video at the beginning where Newcastle are looking for these kind of profile of players. I don't know if you heard me say. So I believe, and I think somebody else said it, hence why I believe it and I see it. Osola is probably about a year and a bit back in his development because he played for Sheffield United. So when I can't remember if he joined Sheffield United in their promotion year or he played for them a year earlier. I can't remember. Somebody will have to let me know. But that year when Sheffield United joined the Premier League, obviously they were just horrendous. And he didn't get to play much as a result of that. They kept on playing the other strikers. I think it was, who did they play that young? Is it Cameron Archer? Was it Cameron Archer? They played. So Osola didn't get to, his development was stunted totally. So I think Osola is about a year and a bit back in his development, in my opinion. I think had he not played for Sheffield United and played for Como, for instance, I think he'll be a lot more higher, a lot more developed than he is at the moment. Philip, go watch him. He cuts inside, goes for goals, and he can trust. Assane Diao. Yeah. I did watch him. I did watch him for the first time on Saturday. Adrian Pickett, Kyle Fitzgerald is one to watch. He is. I hear a lot about him. And I was hoping to discuss him today with Magpie Media. Hopefully, he will tell us more. And the beauty about Fitzgerald is we've already got him. Exactly. We can safely deduce that Christopher is not Osola's agent. Absolutely. I think he's whose agent? Who are you picking up? Who's picking up Assane Diao's agent, maybe? We have some talented youngsters, though. Really excited about Sam Alabi. Yeah, he's really coming up. And Alabi looks lovely on the ball. One more comment before I go to the profile. Christopher Hoskins, sorry, mate. I was watching Liverpool. Look, Philip, I believe I'm getting young talent, but talent that has driven something. And Osola was signed because he worked under an assistant manager. You'll have to just clear up the last sentence for me. I don't get it too much. Let me know what you're saying, Christopher, but I appreciate you. Queen of Heart, no surprise if you're playing for Sheffield United. He needs nurturing exactly around proper professionals like Isak and Bruno and Tonali. They show him who their daddy is. Exactly. So, yeah, I agree with you. Where am I? Here we go. Cool. Where are we? Here we go. Right. So the profile for Assane Diao. Have I taken this off? Yes, I did. Here we go. Back. So this is, again, folks, this is from about a year ago when he was 18. 6 months to a year ago. I can't see the date. So this is when he was playing for Real Betis, right? Assane Diao, 18 years old, they've got him at 1.85 meters. They've got him as main position right winger, and we're looking for one. Other positions. Let me know if you guys would prefer a raw talent like Assane Diao coming in for a right winger, or do you prefer a plug and play, an established talent like an Mbuemo type of player? Let me know what you guys are saying. Other positions, left winger, but also centre forward as well. Preferred foot right. They've got a market value for him at the time as 8 million, and he was bought for 12 million, which is interesting. They give a interesting player comparison between Daniel Marlon, who now plays for Aston Villa, played for Dortmund before, caused us all sorts of problems when he played for Dortmund. And Wilfred Zaha, I'm a little bit more excited. And I've seen him for 60, 70 minutes. I can see why they've made that comparison. Obviously, Wilfred is more developed. Is obviously more developed. He's a man, like in terms of his abilities and skills. But I can see why they made that comparison as well. But I feel like without looking at Saha's ball retention stats, I think his ball retention stats will be a lot better than what Assane Diao is at the moment. But I like that comparison, and I think that's, for me personally, a Wilfred Zaha, Noni Madueke type of talent is what I liked on our right wing. Key strengths: pace, athleticism, weak foot. He's decent with his weak foot. Flair, timing in his runs, improvements, crossing, heading, strength. That's interesting. Decision making for a big guy. You'd hope not. Maybe how to use it. Decision making. Yes, I agree. Background: Assane Diao was born in Dane in Senegal, but moved to Spain when he was 3 years old. He started his youth career in Spain for the likes of, Sidi Badajoz. I know I didn't pronounce that right. Fleca Negra and Ballon de Cadiz CF before moving to Real Betis Academy. Yes, he did. So real strong Spanish background, footballing background. So I would expect he would have obviously technique, ability to hold the ball, tactical awareness. I'd expect that to be all in his kind of in his makeup, kind of growing up as developing his footballing talent. He played for obviously Betis, Segunda Federation. He made his professional debut with Real Betis, entering as a substitute against Rangers in the Europa League conference. So already like a lot of quite a bit of European experience at very early stages. Just 2 days later, he made his La Liga debut against Granada, scoring his first senior goal. That's not bad. On a national team level, Assane Diao participated in under-19 European Championships with Spain. So if you're already playing for Spain's under-19 team, that already says to me that you've got a very sound foundation of technical ability. Hence why Cesc Fabregas obviously bought you for Como. When they reached the semi-finals, Diao played on all 4 games, contributed significantly. He has recently made his debut for under-21's national team. Excellent. And 21 qualifications. So he's got real good under-19s, under-21s background, which is really good. So what's his playing style? Assane Diao is explosive and fast winger that likes to outrun his opponents, and that's true. Like literally the first touch I saw him take, he isolated the defender and he just kicked the ball forward and just went for pace, and he won. And I think that people would love that at St. James's Park. He possesses incredible acceleration and quickly gets up to pace. He often plays on the right wing. Interesting, even though he's right-footed. And likes to cut inside, just like Christopher was saying, inside to either challenge his opponent in a one-on-one situation or take a shot. That with his weaker foot, his left foot. That's interesting. So despite his preferred foot being right, which is exactly what they're saying, preferred foot being the right one, it doesn't stop Diao from using his left foot when cutting inside to relieve a shot on goal. So that's really, really interesting that he can do that. That makes him very, very that allows a lot of tactical flexibility. You've got a right-footed player who likes to play on the right as an inverted right, as a right wing forward, as an inverted right winger, but he's right-footed. He's not afraid to use left foot. You can also use him on the left to cut in from the left. Hence his ability to play across the front 3. So you can see where Newcastle are heading with this. Despite his preferred being on the right one, doesn't stop Diao from using his left foot when cutting inside to relieve a shot on goal, as he demonstrated beautifully with his debut goal in La Liga. I need to see that. During the course of the game, Diao can be found in central attacking areas, and sometimes on the left-hand side also. So he's right across the front 3, which shows a good versatility, which is exactly what Newcastle are looking for. However, his decision-making sometimes takes a bit too long, which ends up in losing possession of the ball. When we talked about it, his lack of ball retention. And this is something that can be taught. Absolutely. Offensively, He's primarily a right winger, initiating plays by utilizing his great speed and dribbling skills to generate opportunity. And the dribbling part is what's important because Newcastle are increasingly going to be playing against low blocks, and we're going to need players that can take on players 1v1, get past 1 or 2. It's difficult to do, but you need players that have the ability to do that as well in order to break down offensive lines. Right. Off the ball. And this is where I think we're going to see an Eddie Howe type of player off the ball. He shows great intelligence in finding open spaces to run into. Diao often starts wide on his right wing to provide width. Interesting. So rather than going from the center points to the right, he goes from the right to the inside and drops deep when his teammates is in possession. So Newcastle often would attack in a 4-3-3, but when they're defending or off the ball, they go into a 4-4-2. Exactly what we see Murphy doing all the time, and you can see where Newcastle are looking at him thinking, yes, this is the guy. This strategic moves draws his opponents out of possession, creating space for both himself and his teammates. He frequently moves diagonally towards the center and around his opponents on the wing, depending on where he can find space to use his pace and create goal-scoring opportunities for his team. So he's a creator as well, has a good sense of space. So you can see again that tactical awareness that Eddie Howe and Paul Mitchell are looking for. Really, really good. I think there's going to be some pictures here, but they haven't got it here. So on the ball, Diao demonstrates a great first touch with both feet. Excellent attribute to have a both-footed player. Valuable trait for a fast winger. Skills particularly important because at times the long ball he receives don't come in front of him, but rather at him. So he can, whether the ball goes to his feet or whether it's over, he's got a great first touch. But oftentimes, especially when we want to attack in transition, is you want the ball to go over the top, or at least in a way where he can run into, so we can break lines or stretch defenses. He can use his pace to do that, and it's great to have the option. I don't know if you guys remember Demba Ba. He was phenomenal at that, in my opinion. One of my favorite forwards for Newcastle, because he was able. He had a great first touch, and he was able to stretch play. He had such good game intelligence as well, in my opinion. In these situations, often controlling the ball, Diao often attempts to dribble past his opponents. He easily bypasses the initial defender on most occasions or gets fouled. Yes, winning a free kick. However, there are instances where he tends to over-dribble, and Tony Manga talked about this, resulting in dispossession. Diao prefers a short passing over crossing, which is fine for Newcastle. If anybody watched the West Ham game, Newcastle don't mind that. Possibly because he aims to execute a 1-2 with his teammates. And you can imagine Isak and possibly Bruno really loving that. And you can see the relationship between Murphy and Bruno, Isak and Murphy as well. That similar type of profile as well. Those 1-2 passes. Maintaining his pace and momentum to stay actively involved in the attack into the final third. So we've got a couple more things about his playing style defensively. Defensively, he contributes through pressing. Eddie Howe, leveraging his explosive speed to close down his opponents and force them to back pass and rush decisions. He's got Newcastle written all over him. Additionally, he actively strives to intercept passing lanes. In transition, Diao is fast to drop back into defensive role to try and win the ball back. And that's a very good character trait to have, someone who understands what the team needs him to do off the ball as well as on the ball, especially in the defensive role. And this is something that Newcastle really, really need as well. Despite losing the ball, Diao demonstrates great determination to win back through pressing. He successfully regains possession and then passes the ball to a player who is in the golden zone. I need to know what that is. Diao quickly presses the ball holder to gain control and intercept the 2 passing lanes marked with blue. It's because the picture, that's what I can't see. That's what the golden zone means. Sorry, guys. So out of 10, they really rate his attacking ability. They got him on 8, dribbling of 1v1, 7, shooting 7, left-footed passing 7. And that's his weaker foot. Right-footed passing 8, short passing 8. Long passing 5, crossing 4. Again, I don't know if that's going to bother Newcastle's Paul Mitchell and Eddie Howe. Running with the ball 7, running without the ball 9. Even better. Ball control 7, heading 5. Can improve. Weak foot 9. First touch 8. Physical ability, acceleration 10 out of 10. He must be. He is. And you can see that. You can see that. You can see that. Mobility 8. Strength. I need to understand why his strength is so low. Work rate 7, agility 9, endurance 7. So really, really good marks there. Technical abilities, positioning 7, reading the game 7, vision 7. Low on the decision making and the awareness, mentality and character ability is important to play for Newcastle because you need mentality and character. 9 team player, 9 out of 10. No one. Reading this here, guys, I'll be very surprised if this isn't the type of player that and it's no surprise that Liverpool are looking at him as well. 9 out of 10 for a team player. Efforts to win the ball back 8. Leadership 6. That's fine. He's young. Talkative 6. Competitive 8. Discipline 7. Concentration 7. Not bad. Will to win. I don't know how you judge that. Or actually, you can. 8. Showing initiative 8. So really good potential. They're talking about his potential. And this is what Newcastle are about to buy into. Potential. They could be investing £26 million into potential. Although Assane Diao is still in the early stages of his development, he exhibits great potential to become a top-class footballer. And remember, this is a year ago now. This is before I heard of him. Anybody heard of him? This season at Real Betis, he has already been, last year at Real Betis, this season, speaking of Real Betis, this season he has already been in the starting lineup for 7 games in La Liga and the Europa League, showcasing the Real Betis provides an ideal environment to grow into a highly skilled right winger. Interesting, the highly skilled right winger at the highest level, which is exactly what Newcastle are looking for. While his decision-making strength, crossing and heading require refinement, I believe these are areas will be addressed by Manuel Pellegrini, if you remember him, former Man City West Ham manager, and his staff as the season progresses with Diao. And you can see Eddie Howe and Tyndall and all the guys working with him there. Despite these aspects of improvement, his athleticism, explosiveness, pace, and goal-scoring ability sounds like Osola. With both feet, apart from the both, it's not bad. Both feet make him a very promising prospect to follow. If he continues to consistently get play time, which he will at Newcastle, I'm confident that he will develop even further and become a sought-after talent. Yeah, Como bought it for 12 million for many top teams in the future. Now, Newcastle, Liverpool are looking after him. So, guys, I'm very excited about him. Before I show clips of him playing, I'm going to read your comments. And I asked you guys a question earlier, and I said to you guys, would you want a Assane Diao type of player who's raw, or for our right wing going into next season? Him developing, almost being like an apprentice under Murphy. He should be surpassing Murphy as well. Or do you want to plug and play your own Buemos, Noni Maduekes, and just get started? Let me know. Let me see what you guys are saying in the comments. Lots of stuff in the comments. Solid will come good. Have faith. Unoya, good to see you, sir. God bless you. Hope you're well. I agree. I totally agree. He worked under Mad Dog. Who did? I'd rather we buy a talent who are showing it and clubs and at their clubs like Diao. Okay, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, it's like a Minte kid risk, but you can see the goals. Minte. Philip, that value might not be right because he moved for 10 million from Real Betis. Yeah, so I think they were given a potential value at the time. So they were saying, actually they gave a good potential value. So they said, we think he'll be valued about £8 million, and then he went to Real Betis at the time as well. So yes, that's not the right value, but I think for the scouting report, they were saying we estimate that his value is around 8 million, and Como paid around 12 million euros, which is about 10 million, exactly 10 million pounds for him. We need more Adrian Pickett. We need more highly technical level players. Just watching Liverpool PSG shows how far we are technically. There are improvements we need to make, absolutely. Ursula may end up being nurtured in Queen. Oh, goodness gracious. Onaya, the technical floor for the team is low still. Got Steve Bruce era players. Not too many. I don't think we're far from. We've got like I think we've got about 9 players. We've got a good starting lineup of players: Bruno, Tonali, Isak, Botman, Gordon, Joe Linton, Hall, Tino Livramento. So that's about eight players. That's the 9th player I'm thinking of. Miley, if you want to include Miley, I would include Miley. 9 players that we can start off with. Obviously, got 8 like first teamers that are playing now. I just think we need to fill that out a bit. I think we're 4 or 5 players from completing like the floor raising phase of this team, and I think that's what this transfer window will be. Are we looking at a Maxi replacement? I've personally forgotten about Maxi. I love him, but we've moved on from Maxi. You know, because even just looking at Diao, they're describing him as someone who works hard off the ball defensively. If he loses the ball, he runs. He's very determined to run back from it. That's not Maxi. We carry on a Maverick at the moment. Queen of Hearts, taking risk with talented players is worthwhile, isn't it? When it pays off in our place in the Premier League. I think so, and I think that's what we're trying to do, honestly. Onaya, a new backline should take priority if we are being honest. Yeah, and I think once the right centre-back comes in, he will be joining Sven Botman, Hall, and Tino Livramento. We're one centre-back away from having that first team back line, in my opinion. Would it be Dean Huijsen, Gahey? Who would it be? Let me know. So let's have a clip. Let's have a look at Assane Diao in action. Let's see what he brings. I really, really like the sound of him. I've got a lot of clips here from him at 210 from when he was at Real Betis. I can't know why I can't find him on Como. But anyway, let's have a look. Let's have a butchers. Whoa, take off the sound. Goodness me, these adverts. And make sure you guys can see that. Yeah, you can. Where are you? Are you playing? Are you playing? All right, excellent. Assane Diao, that's him on the right wing there. Burst into that. Fantastic. Look where he picks up the ball. Good. The 1-2s they talked about. He loves that. And you can see that him doing that with Bruno. Picks up the ball on the right. Excellent. Really good dribbling skills. Uses his body well there. Look at that pace. The acceleration is phenomenal. Cuts in, shoots with his left. Oh, that's fantastic goal. And his left foot is the weaker foot. That was a decent cross. They gave him a 5. That was decent. That was all right. Low and hard there. Central areas. Look at that. Picks up. Oh, lovely turn. You can see that kind of play being. They would love that in St. James's Park. Really good. Picking up a central forward position there. After coming in from the right, following the ball through. Lovely finish as well. This is him on the right. Look at that. Skips a challenge. Good strength. Picks up the ball again. Look at that. Just passes it. He's willing to use his acceleration. Just kicks it in front of him, in front of the defender. Look at that. Lovely turn. Again, with his weaker foot, the left foot. He's not afraid to use his left foot. Controls it with his right, scores with his left. So he loves cutting in. Good, really good of his back to goal there. Excellent. Excellent dribbling skills there as well. Picks up again through the legs. Really exciting talent in my look at that. Lovely awareness for the pass. Incredible awareness for the pass there. Again, good finishing technique. And they were saying in this, and when I was watching the Como game, the commentators were saying that in front of goal, he's very, very efficient. He's efficient. Like he's got very good. He's cool in front of goal, which is important. Look at that, picks up again, shows decent strength there, holds it up, looks up again. Oh goodness me, they would love that at St. James's Park. Really good dribbling skills there, great pace, lovely. Sends the defender off there. This is him on the left. This is him on the left, on the right. Oh goodness me, again pass. Oh, guys. Do you know what? I know these are highlights, and they're not going to show the lowlights. But reading the scouting report, seeing the highlights here, I think he's an incredible talent. Let me quickly look at his. Let me know what you guys think of him. But once you do that, let me look at his FB ref stats. So he's been compared. If you guys can see, he's been compared to. There's a lot of these guys I don't know, I'll be honest. Obviously, Gabriel Martinelli, I think because of the pace, the dribbling as well. Morgan Rogers in 10th as well there. I'd love a Morgan Rogers. I can see what they're talking about, the pace, the athleticism, the ability to take on the ball as well as take on the man as well. Really, really good. So let me see his full scouting report for the last 365 days, which will look at his Betis days and his Como days together. Will they have that? Yeah, they do. Let's have a look at this. Per 90 minutes rather than games. So they've actually got his aerial duels won at 92%. And a year ago, according to the scouting report, that's something that he needed to work on. So it looks like that's working out for him. Tackles 90. That's really, really good. Non-penalty goals, 90 percentile, clearances. So he's probably Como is having to work defensively quite a bit there. Really, really good. All right, so goals and shots on target. Hold on. Who did I compare him to there? Okay, so this is him versus attacking midfielders and wingers. Obviously, that's what he is. Shots on target, 99%. Dribblers tackled. So this is him tackling other dribblers, 97 percentile. And he's got Eddie Howe written all over him, to be honest. Non-penalty goals, 97 percentile. Goals and shots, 97 percentile. So in the 90s, he's for goals, dribbles challenged, tackles won, fouls drawn, pass completions, aerial duels won, tackles, non-penalty goals, got 80% hours. He's got goals, passes offside, average shot distance, clearances, tackles, dribblers tackled. He's done a lot of tackling at Betis and at Como. I think those must be teams, especially with Betis, possibly they don't spend a lot of time with the ball. Possibly tackles, touches, 70% hour, goals and assists, 70% hour, shots, quality of shots, 76 percentile. Really, but then errors as well, 70 percentile, which you get with youth. So really, really good stats there. So guys, let me know what you think about Assane Diao. I've got one more player I want to show you as well. I didn't think I'll spend that much time on Assane Diao, but the more I'm talking to him and talking to you guys about him, and I asked the question to you guys: who would you prefer, a plug and play type of player, an Mbeumo, for instance? I wouldn't mind an Assane Diao. I wouldn't mind a young, a gem of a talent that people don't know about. I can see him developing really well at Newcastle, and him with Sola rotating with Isak, Gordon, Murphy. I think that would be really, really good to see, in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. Yes, a couple of CBs for sure. You guys put the defenders, yeah. Sign him, Adrian Pickett. You've got your approval there. Onoya, he looks assured in front of goal. Sign him yesterday. Hopefully we do. So we've got the sign off for Mr. Assane Diao. One other player, and again, he fits the profile that the guys that were talking about earlier. Strong, powerful, skillful, direct, really good off the ball as well. Really good off the ball. So one more player. I've only got to see this. I actually saw him by accident, first of all, for Villarreal. And I thought, oh, he looks interesting. And then he came across, I think, on the media where they were saying that his representatives were in contact with Newcastle, but that could be taken for agent talk. But at the same time, his profile, very similar to Assane Diao's, and Osola's, and the guys that we mentioned before, Ekatike's, João Pedro's, Isak's, makes me think that this player is someone that Newcastle could be a little bit more serious about than I initially thought. So, and that player is, can I find him? Oh, there's a couple actually. Here we go. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? I had him there for a minute and then I can't find. That's what happens when you've got too many. When you've got too many things open. He was there. Let me have a look. Where are you? Scouting report. So let me first look at him, what the news was on him. And then we'll look at his scouting report. So this is on the NUFC blog. Make sure you guys can see this. Yes, you can. Right. Theirno Barry. And I don't know if I'm going to say his name properly, but Theirno Barry, representatives in contact with Newcastle. This was in February, so about 3 weeks ago now. Representatives in contact with Newcastle over a possible summer move. So Newcastle United have been contacted over the availability of La Liga talent who could be available this summer, allowance following some impressive form in Spain. So again, Spain here, and it makes sense because a lot of players of real technical ability, obviously, with the focus on technical ability, you're going to get these type of players. And mentioning Carl Fitzgerald was recently unveiled in the last youngsters as well. Antonio Cordero. I'm going to look at a scout report for him as well. But they mentioned, obviously, the striker that was offered to us. So Newcastle offered Villarreal striker. Villarreal forward Theirno Barry is a name that has been put forward to Newcastle via agents. So again, or agent talk, but there's a little bit of, if you look at his profile, I can see why, I can see Newcastle being interested in. According to the Chronicle, the 22-year-old is 22 years old, was already on the Magpie radar before he made a switch from Basel to La Liga. Okay, interesting. Last summer, and now plays alongside former Toon man Ayoze Perez, legend, who joined a week prior to the Frenchman. Barry has scored 8 goals in 25 appearances for his new club, Villarreal, with 16 of those being starts for Villarreal side, currently 5th in the Spanish league top flight. That's really good. So he's getting a lot of good experience there and get a lot of good game time. And we're going to look at his game time in a minute as well. Look at this. The 6'4" striker, about the same size as Assane Diao, maybe even taller, moved from a Swiss league, cost £12 million. Interesting, £12 million. Same as Assane Diao. Although his value has increased since then after catching the eye in La Liga. Could Barry replace Wilson? I think so. Off the forwards linked as a move for the mouth, Barry is possibly the most realistic option to deputize for Isak. I would agree with that. From a financial perspective, he's got a £60 million release clause. Okay, I didn't realize that. Attached to recently linked. Oh no, that's my Osherman there. Goodness, I thought it was my Barry. There's a little bit of fluff there, but let's look at Barry. Let me stop sharing this and let's go on transferwindow.com, get a little bit of background on him before I find I had a really good scouting report that I had on him. I can't find at the moment. Theirno Barry. Here we go. So let me make sure I share this with you. Have you guys heard of Theirno Barry? Let me know. Have you guys watched him play? Did you know him before this? Mighty Mag, I hope transfers are done early in the window and not dragging on all summer. I suspect we're going to get sales before the June 30th date, and then we're going to get buys after the June 30th date. It just makes sense for the PSR stuff. Here we go. So let me just share my screen. Where are you? Here we go. So Theirno Barry, 22, is it 22, 23 years old now, 6'4", Villarreal striker, previously played for Basel, has got a lot of minutes under his belt. Transferwindow.com currently value him at 14 million euros. I suspect he's going to be a little bit more than that. 1.95 meters. He is taller than Assane Diao. 1.95 meters. He's about 10 centimeters taller than Assane Diao. He's a unit. France under 21 international, place of birth Lyon, France. Wow. He is a lot taller than I thought he was. Again, similar to Assane Diao, plays across the front three, especially in that central area. And it's interesting because Mark Douglas was saying Newcastle looking for a striker and a right winger. I think Craig Hope said Newcastle looking for a forward and a right winger, which is obviously the key difference. Is striker is someone that's more central. Obviously, forwards play across the front three. I suspect it's a bit of both. Would you take a Theirno Barry and a Assane Diao? I would. I think that'd be really good rotation with them and Osola, with Isak, with Murphy, with Gordon. But first, let's find out who Mr. Barry is in the first place. So what is his contract at the moment? Oh, gosh. Here we go. So he's right-footed, plays for Real Villarreal. His contract runs out in 2029, so he's still got quite a bit left on his contract. So it's not going to be cheap. I don't know if he's got a release clause. That would be good to see. So we can see his history. They obviously started off at France, at Sochaux, Toulouse, before going to SK Bevern, before going back to Sochaux, before going back to Basel, went to Switzerland, obviously, Beveren for 1.3 million, before going from Basel onto Villarreal for 4 million. And that's when I can imagine Paul Mitchell saying to Eddie, let's get this player during the summer. And it didn't take the convincing just then. So let's see how many minutes he's played. Very similar to Assane Diao this season, but he's played more minutes than Assane Diao. He's played nearly 2,000 minutes. He's played 25 games in the La Liga. Obviously, them two are both in the same league. Scoring 8 goals and 3 assists, which is really good for a striker his age. Again, 2,000 minutes, really, really good. Playing the Copa del Rey, playing the Super League, obviously, as well. So, previously, so he's got good experience there. Now, let's look at his profile as well. Have you guys heard of him? Let me know what you guys think of him so far. There was a scouting report on him that I need to find. Is it here? Gosh. Apologies, guys. My hay fever is going through the roof. Where are you? Scouting report. Theirno Barry. He's even taller than Assane Diao. He's massive. Is this it? I think I found it. Oh no, it's not this one. There was one. I like the ones that are fairly easy to read. I don't want it over. That's not easy to read. Villarreal, so nearly 2,000 minutes so far this year. So that's a really good experience in my book. So you can deduce from that how good he is. Scoring 8 goals, 3 assists. Big, strong, powerful. Where are you? Where are your? Where is there's a fantastic oh, maybe this is it. Yes, this is from his Basel days. So let me share this with you guys. Quite lengthy. I'm not going to read all of it for the sake of time, but let's have a look. Share screen. Theirno Barry. Right. So this is actually. So we have to think back a little bit here. This is 2024. So August 2024. So this is about 7 months ago when he was playing for Basel. Right. So Francisco Maldonado gave a really good scouting report that I enjoyed reading. At the time, he was 21 years old, Theirno, and he's very much seen as a striker and a winger, very similar to Mr. Assane Diao. Standing out, what his preferred foot is right. Wow, okay. I'm laughing because that's Assane Diao as well. Height 1.95 meters. He's about 10 centimeters taller than Assane Diao. So he's got a real striker's profile, in my opinion, like a real target man profile as well. So obviously talk about his life and starting out life was in Switzerland, where it was quite difficult at the beginning. However, after a period of time, he was able to score 16 goals and 4 assists in 21 games, including 5 goals in 3 games in 24-25, which is really good. So it's seen him linked heavily to from a move away, which happened. Obviously, he's gone to Villarreal to Spain. It has worked for him there. I'm surprised Newcastle didn't go for him. Basel at the time played in a 3-4-3 in every game. So this is him here. They played in a 3-4-3. So if you can see him on the right-hand side here, on the right wing, very much a right wing forward, really, which is what Newcastle are looking for. But he can play across the front three. I see him as a centre forward, to be honest. Oh, stop moving down. Where does it keep? Here we go. So they line up in a 3-4-3. Barry, stop moving. Why is this thing moving? Barry typically starting at the central forward. Okay, so yeah, with Barry typically starting. So Basel have lined up in a 3-4-3 in every game, with Barry typically starting as a central forward of the three. Yes, so that makes sense. So he was their centre forward, though he has started and is comfortable on both the left and right wings. Versatile, Newcastle. He plays the role of a do-it-all forward for Basel. So they describe him as a forward. Interesting. Rather than a striker. So they describe him as a forward. For Basel, checking in to receive and bring his teammates into play. Target man. In behind runner, Barry has shown an impressively wide skill. So he's got a variety of... So checking in, so linking up play to receive, to bring his teammates into play. Also, he's a target man. Also, he runs in behind. Barry has shown these are like a Demba Ba type of skill set, in my opinion. Can check in, receive the ball, link up play, lay the ball off, also do the runs, also be the target man. That's a really interesting profile. I'm so surprised Newcastle didn't go for him. Physical. The first thing you notice about Tien is his height. He's massive, 1.9 6'5". He still has to master his movements and use his frame, but the thought of him figuring it out is scary. I agree. If he figures out how to use that big frame of his really well, you can see like an early Haaland type of situation. Speed and agility. Barry has fantastic acceleration, like some other strikers we got. From a standing start, this is due to his long legs and his running power. They show it over. Oh gosh, stop moving. Acceleration. His strides cover space faster than his opponents. Okay, this thing is annoying. I have to like do it with the mouse. It's just moving by itself. He often likes to beat defenders out wide using his speed. Just like the guy we talked about previously. For someone of his height, Barry's impressively agile in tight spaces. He has a small turning radius and can maneuver out of situations. Sounds like Isak. You wouldn't think he'd be able to get out of this. Makes him very dangerous and unpredictable in 1v1 situations. So they got a little clip of him here. Lovely take, by the way. Pace, power. Look at that. Oh, Look at that. The defender, he just shrugged at the really powerful guy. Pace, power, dribbling skills, jumping ability, instant threat in the air. He also is target man. Incredible jumping ability, highlighting his potential as a supreme aerial threat. He's a ball magnet from long balls. I'm so surprised Newcastle didn't go for him. Oh, I keep on saying it because like he's got everything, almost getting his head on the football first. So let's see his winning ability here. Boy, that's a leap. Target man. Bang. On to the next defender. Again. Bang. Oh, unlucky there. So you can see the raw talent that's there. Strength and balance. Barry's tall, lanky frame means he doesn't have a low center of gravity, leading him to getting pushed off the ball too easily in some situations. So he does get, yeah. And this is about him learning to be able to use his big frame. There are times when he does use tall upper body to protect the ball well, but he does not always get low enough to get to the ground to make it difficult for a defender. This is something that Eddie Howe and Tyndall, the guys, can teach him. Technical. Let's skip to his technical ability. Barry has an impressive technical base. Played in Spain, I'm not surprised. With great ball manipulation skills for someone who's tall. He is as tall as he is, although there are elements of his technique that could be considered raw. Shooting and finishing. Barry has a wide array of finishing in his locker with both feet, as well as his head. He's comfortable shooting from either side of the goal as well as from distance. Again, why Newcastle haven't gone for him, I haven't got a clue. He's capable of using a wide range of techniques. Inside foot, he's a classic number 9 in the sense that he shoots from anywhere. He gets plenty of opportunities in the box, crosses, but he also has the ability to create his own chances. And this is really important. He has the ability to create his own chances. He sounds like Isak. Barry shows good poaching instincts, always following the ball towards the net. So let's have a look at him here. Let me know what you guys think of him so far. Lovely take on the right. Great shot. Boom. Center, pick and choose. Right through the middle. Great finish. Let's pause a little bit there. But the small clips that we did see, really good first touch. Barry has shown flashes have an excellent first touch, so he needs to improve on that. Although you want to see more than flashes, you want to see a bit more consistency. Though it is currently too inconsistent to, they said it's a purely label it as a strength. When receiving with his back to goal, he can be press resistant and escape pressures with clever flicks and turns. He uses his body well in these situations to maintain control of the ball. It's really important to have that really good skill. That reminds me of Demba Ba a lot. Barry likes to use his first-time sets and playoffs. When receiving the ball back to goal, he has great aerial first touch, allowing him almost to pluck the ball out of the air. Let's see. Oh, lovely. Chest down. First-time touch, not bad. Press resistant there. Good first touch. Link-up play. Oh, goodness. On the right. Guys, I'm liking this guy. If it's true, I wouldn't be surprised that, Paul Mitchell was nudging Eddie Howe in the summer saying, let's get this guy. Close control and dribbling. Barry has quick and creative feet with the ball, making him a threat all over the final third. He likes to take on defenders, sounds like Isak, using different skills and techniques, feints in this situation to assault defenders. He is not afraid of using his pace to get past players. Let's get a little bit forward. We're getting closer to defenders. He effectively shortens his steps to regain total control of the ball. This allows him to weave in and out of tight situations. Sounds like Isak. Let's see what he can do. This is him on the left. Oh, lovely take, pass, move, wins the foul. Look at that for a take. Strength. Oh, sugar. Oh, lovely finish. I need to know why we didn't go for him. Passing. Barry has shown good ability to execute different types of passing, different situations. He has shown good temperament and game understanding, knowing when to play a riskier pass and when to reset the ball to teammates. Let's see. Looks around, checks in, over the top. Good selection there. Oh, lovely. Checks back. Look at that. Lovely pass. Really good pass there. Tactical. Theirno Barry can play across the front three. Assane Diao, Barry, Usola, Isak, Gordon, João Pedro, Hugo Ekitike. Wherever he starts, and you can see the heat map there, whether he starts there or switches positions with a teammate mid-game, he has proven to be effective on either wing. As a number 9, he can also be a target man, a false 9, a 1v1 threat out wide, or in behind type of threat. It's really good skill set. Movement and positioning, excellent. When Basel are playing out from the back under pressure, they are not scared to send the ball towards Barry, and that's what people. That's where the game is going to be able to have that ability to hit directly to a striker. Don't just waste time passing through the midfield. Hit the ball directly. But if you don't have a striker who's able to be a target man, it's a waste of time. And with Barry, you've got a player that can do that. When opponents are more passive and sitting mid blocks, Barry's movement depends on whether he is on the wing or in the middle, so he moves around. When playing as number 9, Barry likes to position himself on the back shoulder of a non-ball sided centre back. Okay. This allows him to make a run into space behind the centre back, invite a long diagonal ball. So he wants to be able to be on the shoulder and to try and beat them for pace. He's comfortable dropping in between the lines to receive the ball, always looking to find space in between players. Fantastic. So he's got a real variety of skill sets. And they kind of show it here as well. I'm breezing through a little bit. What have they got here? If he's played as a winger against a mid-block, he occasionally makes a run in behind his fullback, but more often than not, he's received the ball at his feet with these situations. He likes to hug the touchline, creating as much space as possible for him to drive at the fullback. His speed becomes a real threat. He loves to attack space. So let's see. Yeah. I think I missed that part there. Stop. Where is it? Where are you? Where is Barry? Oh, there he is with the finish. All right. He's a good outlet. Apologies, guys. I'm running out of time. But Barry's an amazing outlet for one simple reason. He makes and uses himself extremely well. He makes every duel difficult for his defender, whether it is on the ground or on the air. The more I'm reading, guys, the more I can't figure out why he's not playing for Newcastle. He's an excellent foul winner, always getting his body in between the ball and defender and almost forcing the opponent to foul him. He knows how to throw his body around and unsettle defenders. Let's see this. Look at that strength. Absolute nuisance, isn't it? He's like a Sola. Lovely receipt. Yeah, you have to foul him. Great qualities here. Out of possession. Barry's energetic presser, just like Assane Diao, just like Usola, just like Gordon, often not giving up opposing centre backs and fullbacks a second to rest. Basel are not the most high pressing team. We haven't been this year, but I think people are picking and choosing when to be nowadays. So he lacks the pressure in some situations, seems to be instructional. I agree, probably. When making his initial jump to close centre backs, he curves his runs and forces opponents to play out wide. Psychological. Barry is clearly confident in his abilities. You can see that. Even when he's not having a great game, he does not stop looking for the ball and for opportunity to drive at the opponent's goal. He looks engaged for the first minute until the last, but he suffers from occasional lapses of concentration. You get that when they're young. First touch. He needs to improve his first touch. Balance. Concentration. He needs to improve on. Barry is typically engaged throughout the night, but he's not seen walking much or being lazy. However, there are occasions when he gets caught offside and he really shouldn't be. Yeah, that's a young person's problem. Play outlook. Theirno is an offensive maverick of potential to seamlessly play along the front three of any attack. He'll be great alongside Isak and Gordon. He can play a number of roles as a lone 9, also maintain incredible threat from wide 1v1 situations. Excuse me. I believe his best position as a number 9. So it might make sense. Assane Diao on the right, Theirno Barry in the middle, and obviously we've got Gordon on the left. Will be, or you can see Theirno Barry. You can see Barry rotating with Isak. You can see Assane Diao rotating with Murphy, and at the moment we've got Mr. Harvey Barnes and Gordon rotating. I think that will change on next year. I believe his best position is number 9. He has a natural goal scoring instinct, always full up shots into the box, and always seems to be on the right spot at the right time. He reminds me somewhat of a Lukaku at Everton. He had to specify that because Lukaku at Man United, at Everton, if Lukaku traded a couple of inches of height for 20 Ilbs and Alex, now here we go. He reminds me of somewhat of Lukaku at Everton. If Lukaku traded a couple of inches of height, so he was a little bit shorter or maybe taller, and he weighed a little bit less, and Isak, tall strikers that can move like wingers. So he has a very similar profile to Alexander Isak. We've been saying it throughout this thing. Barry's hot start to 24-25 season. This is when he was at Super League. Basel, obviously, moved on to Villarreal. Has seen him linked to a move to Saint Etienne. I think any club in League One, bar PSG, would be the perfect move for him. Not only is he back home, so it will not be hard to get used to for a young player, but it is a very physical league, which will force him to adapt and evolve his game. Following the move to France, I could see him excelling for a top Premier League club, Newcastle United. Should Theirno Barry work on the areas he needs to improve on, it's hard to imagine him not being able to be a staple Champions League and the French national team in the years to come. So very, very high praise and higher potential. What do you guys make of that? I'm personally very excited. I would love for Barry to come to Newcastle. I'll be honest, guys. I'll be very, very honest. Let me show you. We're going to have Hal pretending to be unaware of incomings while the players sign. Yeah, I can't wait for that. Adrian Pickett having a target man in the squad will give us options. Exactly. There's so much versatility and what we can do with that and tactical ability that we have. It'll be really, really good. Adrian Pickett, we have met a target if that counts. Aaron Cape. With our budget, we need to find a balance between quality and bulking out the squad. Would be amazing. Callum Wilson replacement. He'll be a lovely Callum Wilson replacement. Lovely Callum Wilson replacement. Oliver Simon Jordan sold. We need this guy. I think, honestly, guys, I don't know while I'm reading the report, and if it's true, because if you guys we read it earlier from NUFC blog where Newcastle we're looking at him when he goes from Basel. I can imagine. Obviously, we had a crazy summer. Whilst Eddie Howe's so fixated on Gahey, Paul Mitchell is saying we need to buy Barry. Howe's not having none of it. Adrian Pickett, he's a perfect or solid upgrade. Wow, yes. I just think it would be exciting to have Isak and to have these guys around him. Isak with Sola and Assane Diao and Theirno Barry. I just think that's such an exciting mix of players. Obviously, Gordon, Murphy, bringing them you can almost imagine I don't know. You can even it's a bit crazy, but in the final 10 minutes of a game, you can take off Isak and Gordon and Murphy to rest them, and you bring on Assane Diao, you bring on Barry, you bring on Osola, and it's like the defense, the oppositions will be like, we're getting no rest here whatsoever. All of these guys are strong. All of these guys are powerful. Good first touch, can run with the ball, got dribbling ability, work hard off the ball, and will love to fight. It's an absolute defender's nightmare. Oh yeah, Wilson replacement. I think it's a great Wilson replacement. Absolutely. Adrian Pickett, yes. Mighty Mag, sounds good. What's the price? Well, on Transfer Market, they got it for £12 million, but the more I'm reading about him, I'm like, yeah, this guy's not £12 million. I mean, what is the price? What I mean, he's not going to be £12 million, Theirno Barry, as much as I'd like for him to be. Theirno, let me see what his transfer links are at the moment. I hope to see Newcastle all over it. Villarreal aren't going to sell him for the same price they bought him for. They bought him for 14 million euros. Oh gosh, he's been linked to Bournemouth. Oh gosh, I'm scared already. We've got to get there ahead of Bournemouth. We have to. He's been linked to Bournemouth. But they're not saying how much. They're not saying how much. Theirno Barry. But that was 31 days ago, to be fair. That was a while ago. I think we just have to wait. I think we just have to wait on that one. Aaron Cape would be able to sign this lad and still have the money to sign a top right winger and maybe another centre back. Well, on top of the other positions, we have some places in the squad which need some quality. I agree, and I'm preparing a show where we're going to be talking about the financial side, the squad side. And all of that stuff that you just said, Aaron. I'm hoping to include all of that. Aaron Cape Phillips sold me on Booker for that goalkeeper spot and sold me on this lad. I remember Booker as well. I watched him against Rangers and he had an up and down game as well. I think I'm on the James Trafford train, but yeah, I know what you mean. Guys, we've come to the end of the show. I was hoping to have to show one or two more players as well. And maybe I'll keep them in reserve. But I don't want to take you guys to 1 o'clock in the morning talking about these guys, even though they're really great talents. But I'm going to keep them in reserve. We talked about obviously the result against West Ham, which was important for us. 1-0, ugly win. Liverpool have gone out of the Champions League. And what does that mean for our League Cup as well? We're going to talk about our game against Liverpool coming up, obviously, this Sunday for the League Cup final. Where are the two teams going to be psychologically and emotionally? Are Liverpool going to be angry, going to try and take it out on us? Probably. I don't care. we have to be angry that we need to win a cup. So hopefully we'll also come back with that. But also we talked about we had a great insight from, I think, is it eScouts? Scout Skill guys. I forgot their names. Really good guys. You guys call them the Mario Brothers. Skills Corner. They got a podcast. I'm going to be looking at that. And they broke down to us Newcastle profile of player. And when we looked at that, we looked at obviously Assane Diao. We looked at Theirno Barry. Assane Diao is mainly a right winger, but he's versatile, can play across the front three. Very similar as well. Tall, fast, direct. Theirno Barry is more of a number 9 who can play across the front three as well. Very exciting as well. His profile's more closer to Isak. I'll be surprised if he hasn't got a lot of suitors, but I love these players to play for Newcastle. I'm glad that some of you guys enjoyed that as well. Look out for the show this Thursday. We're going to be previewing the Liverpool game, and I'm really looking forward to the international break because I'm looking to talk about Newcastle's finances and not too like in terms of like how much do we have? Can we buy the 4 players that Newcastle want to buy, and what does it leave us? How many are we going to have to sell to be able to buy the 4 players that we need as well? So let's look out for that. But guys, you have been terrific as always with me throughout the night. Make sure that you look after each other. Make sure you have a great day, a great evening. Get yourself some good sleep. And as always, folks, look after each other and God bless, folks.